Learning a few basic commands can help you quickly get started with Excel 2016. Let's start by clicking Blank Workbook. Across the top of the screen is the ribbon, which consists of tabs. Each tab has groups, and each group contains commands. The Home tab has groups such as Clipboard, Font, Alignment, and Number. If we look at the Font group, we see it has a set of commands related to font settings. A new feature in Excel 2016 is the Tell Me box. If I need help with font settings, I can just type Font Settings in the Tell Me box. Then I can either choose one of the suggestions that comes up, or choose Get Help on Font Settings to open the Help viewer. I'll close the Help viewer for now. Just below the ribbon is the Name box and the Formula bar. The Name box is useful for seeing where we are in a worksheet. For example, cell A1 is selected, so we see A1 in the Name box. If we select another cell, we see the address of that cell. For example, let's create a simple table showing vehicles and how much they cost. I'll type Vehicle and press Enter. Now I have a word in cell A1, and I've moved down to cell A2. You can also type directly in cells. I'll add several types of vehicles to the list. Each time I press Enter, I move to the cell below. Now I'll type Cost and press Enter. Next, I'll enter some cost amounts for the vehicles. Now I'll do some formatting. I select cell A1, hold the Shift key down and select cell B1 so that both cells are selected. Then, in the font group, I choose the Bold command. I select cell B1, and then in the Alignment group, I choose the Right Align command. Now I'll sum up the costs. I click in cell B6 so that we're just below the list of costs. And then, on the Home tab, in the Editing group, I choose the AutoSum command. And here is where that formula bar comes in handy. I can see how the sum formula is written. If I want to edit the formula, I could do that here. For example, I can change the formula to calculate an average instead of a sum. At the bottom of the worksheet, you can see that it has a default name of Sheet 1 on its tab. Notice the little plus sign next to that tab? You can click that to add another worksheet to the workbook. If you decide you don't want a second sheet, delete it by right-clicking its tab, then choosing Delete. To save the workbook, click the File tab. Here you'll see several locations, including OneDrive. When you're signed in, Excel adds OneDrive as one of your save locations. You can choose that, save the file there, and edit it later. Learn more at support.office.com.
The Excel 2016 templates let you quickly create useful workbooks without a whole lot of work. Templates give you a starting point for a file. If you don't see a template you want to use, you can search for more online. For example, I recently attended a conference, and now I need to submit an expense report. It would take me a while to create a decent expense report in Excel, so I'm going to search on Expense Report and see what's out there. I see lots of expense report templates, so I'll just take a look at the first one. Each template has a details page that describes the template, shows what it looks like, and who created it. This one looks okay, but I think I'll check out a few other ones first. This one looks good, so I'll choose Create. And here's my expense report, ready to edit. This workbook contains a single worksheet called Expense Report. If I want to, I can rename it by right-clicking and selecting Rename. I'll call it Expenses 2015 Conference. I want to add a second worksheet to track my list of receipts. I do that by clicking the plus sign. Now I'll save the file so I can work on it later. On the File tab, I choose Save As, which brings up a list of options. For now, I'll save it in my personal OneDrive library. The default name of the workbook is Weekly Expense Report. I'll give it a more meaningful name so I can find it later. Next time I want to edit the expense report, I can just open Excel, and there's a good chance I'll see my expense report listed under Recent. Or I could sign into Office 365 and find the expense report in OneDrive. There's the file, so I'll choose it and start editing. Learn more at support.office.com.
You can bring data into Excel by pasting or importing it from other sources, but much of the time you're just going to type it in yourself. For example, I'm planning a get-together, and 3 friends are helping me cover the costs. I want to keep track of costs and how much we've all contributed so far. Cell A1 is already selected, so I'll just start typing. Each time I hit enter, I move to the next cell down, below my entry. Next, I'll enter the estimates I have so far for this get-together. Now I can see that I need to make column A wider so that all of the items are fully visible. A quick double-click on the right side of the column heading takes care of that. Now I'll align the cost heading to the right side so it looks better. And I'll bold those headings so they stand out. Next, I'll total up the costs. I click below the list of costs, click Auto Sum in the ribbon, and then press Enter. My 3 friends are splitting the cost of this event with me, so I'll add them to the worksheet. The 4 of us are splitting the cost evenly, so I'll use a simple formula to divide the total amount by 4. And now I see that each of us needs to contribute about $856.25 to cover the costs of the event. Now I want to add a column to track what each person has paid so far. Each of us has chipped in $200 so far. Using AutoSum again shows that we have $800 so far. As we contribute more, I can easily edit these amounts, and my total will update automatically. Learn more at support.office.com. Excel is great for managing tables of numbers, but adding a chart can make your data much easier to interpret. For example, here's some data about Contoso's online sales for 2014. The table shows sales amounts for several different countries and product categories, but it's hard to read in table form, so I'll create a chart based on the table. First, I select the data, and the Quick Analysis icon appears down here. I click the icon, and a gallery appears with several different options to choose from. I want to create a chart, so I'll choose that option. Here, I can see several recommended charts for my data. As I hover over each one, I see a preview of what that chart would look like. For example, here are several different types of bar chart. I like that first chart the best, so I'll use that. And now I can see at a glance that our top-selling product for 2014 was bikes, and most of the sales were in Australia and the United States. I can give the chart a name by selecting it and typing a new name. I can also move the chart so it's next to my data. The Quick Analysis feature helped me create that chart quickly. But let's see another way to do it. Here's some survey data about which colors customers preferred for some of the products our company offers. To chart this data, I select it. And then on the Insert tab, I click Recommended Charts. This brings up a dialog box that lists some recommended charts and shows a preview of each. I think I want this one, but I want to see some of the other options. I click All Charts, and Excel suggests a couple of options. I can hover over each one to get a closer view. The colors are nice on this one, but I don't think it's as understandable as the other one. So I'll keep the recommended chart that's already selected. I click OK, and Excel creates the chart. Up in the ribbon, the Design tab appears, where I can make changes to my chart. For example, I can use the Add Chart Element button to add data labels to the chart. And I'll give the chart a more meaningful name. Once you've created a chart, you might decide you don't need to see the table of data itself. In that case, you can just move the chart so it covers the table. Learn more at support.office.com.